She's like a princess that even Mario couldn't pull. And I'm like a werewolf cursing the constellations when the moon is full. I used to think Disney was for kids, just the fact that it's whack like this laugh track in the back. But can't you find the deepest part of this monster's heart instead of coloring it all black? 'Cause I am a sharp-fanged, blood-stained, self-sabotage and monstrosity. But she changed my diet and my werewolf side, it disappeared magically. But I know I still smell pretty bad right now. I don't know etiquette, but she always is a beauty, and I just used to be a beast. And even a man should get so lonely. I'm sorry I push you away. I break every vase and bookcase until I hear the inanimate object say, "I'll stick right now or all day. What makes it special today? One day, her patience will end, and love can penetrate through to that heart in you. Like it was time to pay the rent, she's got served by a gentle act of providence. 'Cause I am a sharp-fanged, blood-stained, entitled proprietor and bare feet. But she changed the way I think, and I feel like human at least. But I still know I smell pretty bad right now. I just started learning etiquette. But she always is a beauty, and I'm still sometimes a beast. When the film is complete.
Alright. Is he rolling? B-I-might-be. B-I-might-be. You can't say that naughty word on YouTube. So we're rolling. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are rolling. This is the greatest podcast in the multiverse. And also the greatest podcast, obviously, known to mankind. So if you are an alien life form out there listening to the audio only version of this amazing podcast, this is truly the greatest podcast known to mankind. This is the greatest podcast in the multiverse, and I'm glad you're tuning in. We are just mere earthlings trying to appease and entertain you. They're probably made of ions, you know? They probably can't even. If you are experiencing this podcast through a sensation that we have no idea even exists yet, I want to say thank you for experiencing this great podcast. This is the greatest podcast in the multiverse, after all. It probably can. This podcast can actually be experienced through ions, whatever that means. So here's the deal. This podcast today, we are going to be breaking down the basics. So I had an interesting conversation with my friend the other day. He's like, yeah, the Ross of Nazareth Secrets to the Universe were amazing. You got to bring those back. Those were like the Ross of Nazareth first shorts I was doing. And I'm like, well, no one wants to hear about God, you know, especially in Austin, Texas, when I kind of stopped doing it, because in Austin, I had to literally have defenses on stage when they would introduce me, because Ross of Nazareth, he's gonna be evangelical. He's gonna literally preach the Bible. I'm from Nazareth, Pennsylvania, you know? So I would have to make up jokes and stuff. He's like, who cares? Austin, Texas? That's old news. And I go, you're right. And then he goes, what? You can't believe in something bigger than yourself? And when he said that, it clicked. I'm like, yeah, that's all we're doing. So what? I believe in something bigger than myself. Whoa, shut him up now. He can't do that. We have to put our personal beliefs first and values. We have to put politics, what I think about politics first. If I'm a Republican or a Democrat, we have to only think about us and what we believe. Really? How selfish are you to think that? Shame on this country. Really, shame on this country. And I was going to give a Coca-Cola toast. I'm going to leave it, but Trump always does something literally the next day where I go, really, dude? Really? I just gave you a Coca-Cola toast. He's got to be always doing something, though, right? This one I looked into, I was pissed at first. The more I looked into it, I'm like, he's got... So climate change, I'm going to cut the climate change grants in half for every college. And I'm like, come on, dude. Really? I mean, it's good to study that. I don't care what your thoughts on it are. It's a very insanely complicated... Meteorology is very complicated. Earth sciences, and I'm an environmental scientist. So I know about hydrogeology. Like, you know, where there's more water underground than there is above. Do you understand that? Hydrogeology, geologists, chemistry, mass spectrometers, gas chromatography. You know, when you get into this stuff, it's very complicated. It's very complicated stuff. So I was at first like, come on, man, you're gonna cut half? But then I saw that it wasn't going to climate change. Can you believe this stuff? Harvard, all these fancy colleges, they're bringing the climate change money in, and then they're allocating it towards trans studies. You know what I mean? So I don't even have to say anything. I'll just pause, and you go, yikes. You know what? I really do thank the audio-only listeners, because you may find this interesting, because I found it interesting. I really do want to thank you, audio-only listeners. It would be really funny if they've never seen me before, like literally have never seen me. If you have never seen Ross and Nazareth before, I am 6'4". I have a chiseled, perfectly symmetrical face, like Giga Chad. I am perfectly symmetrical. I am a 6'4" black African American descent man, and I never have a shirt on. It would be hilarious if they'd never seen me before, and they're picturing me in their heads and like, what does he look like? That's what I look like, folks. And the YouTube audience, I always thought that it was more entertaining to see me live. However, here is what I found interesting. It's about half and half. So there's about half of the listeners on Spotify. Mainly, I use Podbean, so that distributes the podcast out to like 8 or 9 platforms that host podcasts, and 90% is Spotify, and then the other half is YouTube, right? So why I found that interesting, because at first it was like 90% YouTube, and it's been shifting. So is YouTube on the because it's the number one platform. I thought YouTube was here to stay. By the way, like 1% on Rumble. Right. So YouTube, I thought was here to stay. I thought and it may be, YouTube. I'm grateful for YouTube. I just found it strange that now there's more listeners on different streaming services, mainly Spotify listening. Maybe they don't want to be distracted. YouTube's strange. You gotta admit, I'm 30 and above. Every 30 and above year old I talk to is like, yeah, I don't understand YouTube. I don't understand what's going on. There's different fads and trends, and everyone has to be on a team, and everyone's doing the same thing, the same dance. They're all trying to be one. And it's like, no, you are the answer. It's not them. It's within you. There was a young kid who's like, I like what, basically giving me a compliment. I want to be like you. And I said, you don't buy a fifth of vodka, go crash your car, break your C2, mess up your life, go into comedy, like you don't want to be me. At best, I'm merely reflecting to you what you already know about yourself. I'm just mirroring the best part about you that you want to come out. That's at best. Everything's a subjective experience. So it kills me when they go, you have a good voice. I go, I do get that. By the way, I'm not just giving myself compliments. I literally have gotten that before, once or twice. You have a good voice. It doesn't even register with me because I go, I don't, thanks. It's your own subjective experience. I even like myself talking, I think I said this in a podcast or two ago. It like editing, I'm kind of like, oh, I said what, dude? Come on. So that's the fact, is like, the fact of the matter is that you are the answer, and no one's talking about this stuff. You'll only hear it on the greatest podcast in the multiverse. It's not politics. You won't find, everyone wants to find these cliques And I knew since at an early age that I didn't want what they wanted, what other people wanted. In high school, like I was the dude that sometimes would sit with people, but I sat by myself sometimes in lunch, and other times I was entertaining people and blah, blah, blah. But I never really wanted the clique thing. I wasn't into that. I was kind of a chameleon in the sense that like I could go to different friend groups. Like there was something very weird to me about conforming, like punk music. I loved punk music growing up, melodic punk. And I didn't like the poppy punk, but I did like some, but melodic, No Effects, Bad Religion. I like these bands, right? But the people I was that liked that kind of music dressed in a ridiculous way. I thought it was punk. I thought you were supposed to go, no, I don't like authority. And now you're dressing the same. I never bought into that. I guess I'm that punk. I'm so punk. I hate punk music. I'm so punked, I don't even wear the punk outfits. So, I just realized, so audio only listeners, you can't see this, but there's a basil plant that's been behind me literally for 6 months now. And it was by the window right before the podcast. I was like, I've had that basil plant for a while. And it just dawned on me. I bought that basil plant at Giant, which I don't know where you're listening. If you are a space alien experiencing this podcast through ions, some stimuli that we don't even know exists yet. And yes, that can happen with this particular podcast. It's the greatest podcast in the multiverse. They're just experiencing it through waves of energy. That's how you're supposed to experience the anti-George Carlin. But we have visual and audio sensations that we experience it through. Aliens can experience it through whatever, dude. Ions. So I bought the basil plant, right? 6 months ago. And it's still alive. That's kind of funny to me because it's been through so much. Like it experienced the great drought of July. It experienced, they had a dry spell in August. It really did. It's experienced me throwing I'm so mad, I'm going to throw a shoe at the TV. Experienced me going through emotionals, ups and downs, being late. Oh, I'm late. The plant's always been there. It's had my back through making pestos and putting it on my caprese. I would make these tomatoes that were homegrown, slice them up, get this fresh mozzarella, some balsamic, a little basil on top, man. That's what I'm talking about. And it's still alive and kicking, man. Pretty soon I'm gonna have pretty soon the plant's gonna be paying rent, if you know what I'm saying. Come on now. But we've been through it all. So I just want to say that they told me that it couldn't happen. Giant, the grocery store that I bought it from, said that it doesn't really last that long. It's still in the original container. This is like Hanukkah, dude. This is like, they only had a drop of oil and it lasted 8 days. This basil plant is pretty much Hanukkah. That's what's going on. It's a magical plant. And when there's love in the air, plants do know, I think. There's like a study where you give them loving affirmations and they grow better. I don't know if that's real or not. You know what? We'll find that out on the Anti-George Carlin podcast. We will, because that's interesting to me. Wouldn't you want to know if loving affirmations make plants grow, considering the same environmental conditions? Identical environment, humidity, temperature, watering, everything's the same, but you scream the F word at one plant and the other plant you are the greatest listener ever. You are such a beautiful, kind listener. I cherish all the audio only listeners. I cherish you. So do loving affirmations make plants grow stronger, better, I guess? We're asking a chat GPT like AI. Science says, if it's science, you gotta believe in it. 97.9 climate scientists agree. Really? All of them agree? How many climate scientists do you know? I know 0. I don't know a nuclear physicist either. I don't know anything. Exactly. So don't trust science. The whole idea of science is punk rock. It really is. That's why I went into science later on, because I hate authority with it. I've always known I hated authority. That's the one thing I know about myself. I do not like authority. That's why I love Jesus so much, dude. He didn't care about authority. Cracking that whip, dude. Science says kind of, but not exactly. There's no solid proof that words themselves, you are a beautiful basil. It literally says basil. You are a beautiful basil plant. I love you. Directly making a plant grow faster. But the care that usually comes with speaking kindly, paying more attention, watering properly, noticing light and soil conditions, does make the plant thrive. Huh. Experiments, the Mythbusters. Actually, that was a good show. Experiments like the Mythbusters, tests, and some university research found. I love how they put universities and the Mythbusters in. They lump those two things together. Crazy, dude. So, found the plants exposed to pleasant sounds, including human voices. And my voice is the most pleasant voice you can possibly listen to, my audio listeners, grew slightly better than those in silence. The theory is that vibration from sound waves can gently stimulate growth hormones or even improve gas exchange in the leaves. The real magic. If you are saying nice things to your basil, it means you are spending time with it, noticing it, nurturing it. And that is what makes the difference. All right. I do agree. I do concur. And Your Honor, I do agree that these basil plants are beautiful. So there you have it. You have to give loving affirmations to your plants. And in addition, you'll spend more time with it, blah, blah, blah. So I buy that. We're going to take a quick break. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are rolling. The greatest podcast in the multiverse. And for all the non-believers out there, here it is. And for the cherished audio-only listeners, I am holding up, behold, YouTube listeners, the Basil plant. It's going on 6 months. That's pretty old in basil years. Am I right? Check it out. Between One Basil. That's the name of this podcast. Between One Basil plant. You are such a beautiful basil plant. You are so beautiful. I want you to grow strong and healthy. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You taste so good in a caprese salad. You make the caprese salad. The caprese salad is nothing without the basil. The basil plant is the best. It's still in the original container, too. Check it out, dude. All I know is you gotta start paying rent, though. You gotta give it tough love. That's why the studies where give it love. I say tough love. I say basil plant, rent's due. You are beautiful, but you still owe me rent money. Where are we getting into? So I went on a ghost tour, and I'm gonna drop the bombshells in this half. And my bombshells, don't get them confused with Alex Jones's bombshells. Two different bombshells. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones has a bombshell that's more like an emergency podcast where someone says that and you go, I want to slap you. What did you say? Emergency? What? Podcast? Shut up. This two-party political system, the bombshells are usually about joining either side. So the left has their own weird bombshells. And then the right's bombshells are like Alex Jones, where he's, we got bombshells. I am flailing my arms, so you know I am energetic and locked in. I am locked in, folks, and I'm sincere. These flailing arms show you that this bombshell is gonna reduce all the complexity. If you're a libertarian or a Republican, it's gonna reduce all the political fears and complexity that you have in your life, so you can sleep better at night, knowing you are on the winning team. And people watch it, just they go back to like whatever they're doing, eating gross food before they go to bed. For real. It's like that. Haven't we learned by now this this Democrat and Republican two-party system is trash? If you want to be a politician, what? Haven't we learned that they are scummy, narcissistic power whores by now? And that we can mass produce our needs for free? It's 2025. We do it for Israel. We give Israel an entire defense system. You can't even give me food, can you, Trump? Where's my defense system? I want a defense system for my house. I want one. I want an Iron Dome. Or what is it called? Something dome. I want that dome piece, Trump. Can you hook me up with a dome piece at least for my house? Oh, you can't? How about some food? Oh, you can't even do that. Huh. I get the scraps. I see how it is. We're going to rise up, folks. We're going to rise. We want a defense system for our house. Come on, dude. For real, though, what's going on with that? That is very strange. Very strange. So I'm on this ghost tour, right? And I used to use Do You Believe in Ghosts as like a barometer for chicks to see how crazy they actually are. Yeah, I believe. And if they actually do believe in the Scooby-Doo type ghost, like, ooh, oh, get out. This is where I live. I go, okay, I'll see you later. And I dip out. But sometimes they go, I had an experience. And then those are the people I'm like, okay, you're a little bit crazy. And I like that. Actually, crazy people to me are normal. Like, they're not the locked in people. I am a Trump. I love Trump no matter what. Democrat. I love Don Lemon. I experience the world in an intellectual way. Like those two types of people, I go, oh, you're an archetype. You're literally not thinking. You're repeating jargon that you heard online. So you're not a person. Hello? Those are ghosts. Those are the real ghosts. The early podcast I did when no one knew what was going on, but I was like, I see that no one knows what's going on. You know, those were the best podcasts for me. Like the Night of the Living Cucks, where everyone's getting bitten. They got bit by Bill O'Reilly. I think they're so funny. Those were my favorite podcasts that I did. So if you haven't seen those podcasts, the early ones like Night of the Living Cucks, oh, that one's so funny to me. It's so funny because that's what's happening. People get bit and they're still going at this point. And I told you before, sorry if I'm repeating myself, but it's like a football field. Everyone's playing and I was playing too. Okay. I self-admit that I was playing. I believed it all too. And then I'm in the stands watching it, you know, and like big names are continuing to fall for all these stupid tricks of the two-party system. It's too funny. You're watching the game now being played. So I was on this ghost tour. And like I said, I used it as a barometer, but all these people believed in the ghosts. I went in. Here's what I think about ghosts, because I do believe in ghosts. And if you're sitting there like, he believes in ghosts, is this guy nuts? This is what I mean. I do believe in ghosts because we are all living proof that ghosts exist. So in your head, think about how special this is. Your ancestors, the greatest ancestors of all time, the goats, all reproduced and eventually made us. So you're literally your head is full of ghosts, apparitions from the past, different senses from the past. You're able to, some people are really good at like individualistic things. You have a special talent. If you are listening to this, you have a special talent passed down from generation to generation to generation, and you have a specific thing that you will be good at in this world if you just allow yourself the opportunity to actually go forth and be brave enough to try whatever the thing is that you're good at or that you really want to do, and you have a suspicion, if you will, that like, this is what I'm here to do. You know, go with that. Go with whatever that is, because it's there for a reason. I don't really trust my gut, but I trust my instincts. And women have a very peculiar ghost-like instinct, and that was all passed down from the past. Like, it's very, very interesting, men and women, how they experience things. Women experience more ghost-like, hey, there's this really creepy feeling I get. And I actually trust those sometimes. I actually do. So anyways, we're on this ghost tour. It's the Sire Mansion. And we're going through this ghost tour, and each room has like a story from the 1800s. So this guy, Robert Sire, in Bethlehem, PA, made Bethlehem Iron Works, which eventually became Bethlehem Steel. Lehigh University, he helped form Lehigh University, and then St. Luke's Hospital. Like, he did the whole city's because of this dude. He had 4 wives. The fourth wife, was a gold digger, essentially. She was 43. He was 84 when he died. And 2 of the wives died in the house. Not to mention, that mansion was built on top of literally a cemetery. So there's a lot of people that died around this house, and it's all made of stone. And what the ghost nerds were saying was that that stone traps in energy. So here's where I was like, this makes sense to me, like in some capacity, that there's a lot of energy in this house, and I felt some sort of energy. There's an episode of Ghost Hunters on Discovery Channel, not kidding, on this exact mansion. I'll put it in the description here so you can watch the episode and laugh, because I didn't know about it. So we went out to dinner before, and then we went to the ghost tour, and then after, we watched the Discovery Channel show on this exact mansion that we just did a ghost tour on. So I laughed the entire time watching the Discovery Channel ghost thing. So see for yourself, but ghosts to me are hilarious, to think that it's actually a Scooby-Doo like ghost. Oh, and one part of the Discovery Channel show, they go, "Are you here, Robert?" And there's this voice that goes, "Yeah." For those audio only, I cherish. That was some sort of a sexual, yeah. But I swear, it's in the Discovery Channel show. He goes, "Yeah." That's how he answers. To a ghost to reply to one specific, "Are you here?" And then you go, "Yeah." Why aren't you answering any of the other questions like that? And the sexual undertone of it, to die at 84 and then to be that sexual, is very funny to me. I laughed a little bit. So anyways, what's the spirituality bombshell? It's based upon our evolutionary lineage. So the Holy Spirit is within you, right? In Christianity. What does that mean? Like, people think it's nonsense. Do you know how many times that instinct has gotten me out of trouble? At a party that gets raided by the DEA, and I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. And I go like, boom, house gets raided. Everyone gets locked up. Drugs are thrown everywhere. I get out of that one. So many, there was this murdering, this is terrible, but there's this guy named 40. And you can look this up on Google. My friend Matt Kelly in high school got killed, murdered by 40. 2 other people we know got killed by 40. My brother, when he was not supposed to speak ill, and I don't want to, I don't know how to really word this. Let's just say this. My older brother was in sales. He was in sales, okay? He was an executive in sales when we were teenagers. And one night, there was a sale that went badly. There was a taser involved. My brother fought the best he could, but then he was eventually robbed. And these people are usually weak that rob people. They usually use tactics that are like sneaky, and they never fight like a man. And that's what he did with Matt. Matt was ready to die, like defending his friends that were getting robbed by this murderous psychopath, 40, who's now in prison. And you can look it up, Matthew Kelly, 40, Forty, like a 40 ounce. And this guy takes me down. So then I'm in this car with this guy, 40, for literally 2 hours. He's taking me down to Philly. Now I'm in a spot where it's like the hood. I don't even know where I was at. It was West Philadelphia. and I could have gotten robbed or killed, right? He goes into this house and he's like, stay here. And I turn to my friend and I go, let's get out of here. Let's not, something feels off. And we drove away, and I don't know what could have happened, but if I went into that house, I knew I was going to die pretty much, or get robbed. And I didn't want to be carless, phoneless, no wallet in the middle of West Philadelphia, born and raised. On the playground is where I spent most of my days. That ain't for me, right? So we left. So I got out of that one particular situation where he literally was on a rampage. These are true stories. So I trust my instincts when it comes down to it. I don't always trust my gut, or like, lead with the heart, the rest will follow. I believe in that, but not in relationships. You gotta use your head in relationships, not that head. You silly willies down there, teenage level. You gotta use your head, you know? So this whole thing about ghosts is, you know, you have the cream of the crop. The Holy Spirit is within you, literally. If you're talking evolutionarily, or you're like me and you believe that something is bigger than you, that you are a part of this. For me, it's open water. I just feel connected. I don't know if my ancestors did something with water, but whenever I'm at a big ocean or a big lake, I feel connected instantaneously. And if you're listening to this podcast, I guarantee you have something that makes you feel connected. Maybe it's a Basil plant. Maybe it's a ghost in your bathroom, like moaning Myrtle. I don't know. Look, this is all I'm saying. You have ghosts within you. They're your ancestors or the Holy Spirit. If you believe in something bigger than yourself, but they are the undefeated champs, your ancestors, they're golden medalists of survival for a reason. Because you're here right now because you have an answer within you. So let's leave behind something bigger than this two-party political system that means nothing to anybody. And let's leave behind something that makes us laugh a little bit louder. Come on, folks.